Hello everybody, welcome to my crochet tutorial of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. I've had this pattern released for a while now, but I thought I should make a video tutorial for the new movie that just came out. I'm not sponsored in any way, though I wish I was. For this pattern you are going to need a 3.5mm crochet hook, a row counter, 15mm doll eyes, a doll nose, I use 19.5mm. Black yarn can also be used in substitution for any of the doll eyes. You also need a needle and stitch marker, scissors, blue yarn, white yarn, and red yarn. I use red heart, but you don't have to. We're going to start off by making the head. Get your white yarn, make a magic ring, and insert 8 single crochet into the magic ring. This will be your first row. I have yet to make any magic ring or single crochet tutorials. As something you would like to see in the future, please let me know in the comments below. Once you have finished putting the 8 single crochet inside the magic ring, you are done with the first row. For the second row, you are going to make 8 increases. You'll place 2 single crochet inside the same stitch. So 1 single crochet, then going back in that same stitch, place another single crochet. I will show you one more time. 1 single crochet, go back in the same stitch, 1 single crochet. You will repeat this for the entire round until you have 16 stitches in the round. Once you have finished the second row, it is time to work on the third row. This is where I usually grab a stitch marker just so I don't lose my place. For the third row, you are going to make an increase, so just like before, place 2 single crochet inside the same stitch. Then after the increase, you're just going to place 1 single crochet inside the next stitch. You will repeat this, so increase, 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, then 1 single crochet. You will repeat this increase and single crochet pattern throughout the round until you have 24 stitches in the round. This is what your finished third row should look like. Now it is time to work on the fourth row. To begin, you will make another increase, so 2 single crochet inside the next stitch. 1, 2, then you will place 1 single crochet inside the next 2 stitches. Again, make an increase, so 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Then place 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. You will repeat this increase and 2 single crochet pattern in the entire round until you have 32 stitches in the round. This is what you should have when you are done with the fourth row. For the next 7 rows, so rows 5 through 11, we are going to place 1 single crochet inside of each stitch, meaning that each row will have 32 stitches in the round. I'm just showing you how you should be doing row 5, placing 1 single crochet inside of each stitch in the round. This is what you should have when you're done with the 5th row. Again, you will repeat this 1 single crochet inside of each stitch, so 32 stitches in each round, until you have finished with row 11. And once you are done with row 11, this is what it should look like. Now it's time to work on row 12. We are going to start off with a decrease, so pick up the first 2 front loops of the next 2 stitches, pull up a loop, and then pull it through like a single crochet. Then for the next 2 stitches, just place a single crochet like normal. One more time. Make a decrease, so pull up the front 2 loops and single crochet with them. Then 2 single crochet. You will repeat this decrease and single crochet pattern throughout the round until you have reached 24 stitches in the round. This is what you should have when you're done with row 12. For row 13, we are going to start off with a decrease, like in row 12. So pick up the first 2 front loops of the next 2 stitches, then pull up a loop, then pull it through, like a single crochet. In the next stitch, you'll just be doing 1 single crochet. Again, make a decrease, so pull up the first 2 front loops and single crochet with them. Then make 1 single crochet in the next stitch. You will repeat this pattern until you have 16 stitches in the round. This is what you should have when you are done with row 13. Instead of jumping into row 14, I'm going to show you how I stuff my head of the plushie. So as you can see, it is hollow. And you will just grab your polyfill or fabric or whatever you are using to stuff the plushie, and then just stuff it inside. And then this is what it should look like when you are done stuffing it. After we have finished stuffing, we get to work on row 14, which is just 8 decreases. So 8 times you will be pulling up the first 2 front loops of the next stitches, and then single crocheting with them. This is what your finished head should look like. Do not tie off, we are going to continue with the body from the head. Next, you are going to grab your doll eyes and doll noses. I like to put on the nose first. The nose will act as a mouth. If you do not have any doll noses or doll eyes, that is okay. You can use black yarn to sew on the face, however you may like. Then, because I like the baby face look of plushies, my eyes and nose will be pretty far down the head, but you can put them on however you may like. This is just how I do it. Once you are done putting on the face, it is time to work on row 15, which is the start of the body. You will be making 8 increases, so place 2 single crochet inside of the next stitch. Once again, 1 single crochet, and go back in the same stitch and place another single crochet. You will repeat this increase pattern until you have 16 stitches in the round. This is what it should look like when you are done with row 15. For row 16, we are going to make another increase to start off. So place 2 single crochet inside the next stitch. So 1, 2 single crochet both inside the same stitch. Then after that, you will place 1 single crochet inside the next stitch. Place 1 increase, so 2 single crochet inside the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet. You will repeat this increase and single crochet pattern in the entire round until you have 24 stitches in the round. This is what it should look like when you are done with row 16. For row 17, you're going to start off with another increase. So place 2 single crochet inside the next same stitch. So 1, 2 single crochet, both inside the same stitch, and then for the next 2 stitches, you will place 1 single crochet. Once again, increase, so 2 single crochet inside the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet inside the next 2 stitches. You will repeat this increase and 2 single crochet pattern in the entire round until you have 32 stitches in the round. This is what it should look like when you are done with row 17. For row 18, we are once again going to start off with an increase. So place 2 single crochet inside the next stitch. So 1 single crochet, back in the same stitch, 1 more single crochet. Then in the next 3 stitches, you'll be placing 1 single crochet. Again, an increase, so 2 single crochet in the next stitch. Then place 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Repeat this increase and 3 single crochet pattern in the entire round until you have 40 stitches in the round. And this is what you should have once you are done with row 18. Now for the next 8 rounds, so row 19 through 26, you'll just be placing 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. So 40 single crochet in each of the stitches. This is what it should look like when you are done with row 19. Once again, you will be repeating this 40 single crochet pattern until you will have reached row 26. Once you have finished row 26, this is what your plushies should look like. It is time to work on row 27 of the body. You'll start off with a decrease, so pick up the first 2 front loops of the next 2 stitches. And then in the next 3 stitches, you'll just be placing 1 single crochet. Once again, make a decrease, so grab the first 2 front loops, make a single crochet, and then in the next 3 stitches, place 1 single crochet. You will repeat this decrease and 3 single crochet pattern until you have 32 stitches in the round. This is what you should have when you are done with row 27. For row 28, you are going to once again start with a decrease, so grab the first 2 front loops of the next 2 stitches. Then in the next 2 stitches, just place 1 single crochet. So again, decrease, so grab the first 2 front loops and single crochet with them. Then place 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. You will repeat this decrease and 2 single crochet pattern until you have 24 stitches in the round. I have just finished row 28. Now it's time to work on row 29. To start off, you'll make another decrease. So grab the first 2 front loops and single crochet with them. Then place 1 single crochet in the next 1 stitch. So decrease, then 1 single crochet. You will repeat this decrease and single crochet pattern in the entire round until you have 16 stitches in the round. Once you have completed row 29, we will have to stuff the body before we do row 30. So grab your stuffing, polyfill fabric, whatever you are using to stuff the plushie, and then stuff it into the little body. For the last row of the body, we are just going to make 8 decreases. So you'll be grabbing the first 2 front loops, single crocheting with them. Grab the first 2 front loops, and single crochet with them. And you will be doing this 6 more times. Once you are done with the 8 decreases, feel free to stuff the body if you feel that you need more. Otherwise, grab your scissors and cut off a long tail. Not too long, we don't want to waste any yarn though. Just enough to tie off the body. Pull it through, then grab your yarn needle. Put the yarn through the eye of the needle. And then this is how I like to tie my things off. So just put the needle through the front loops of each stitch like you're doing a decrease. Just without the crochet part. 4. And then do that 4 more times. So stick it through each of the front loops of the stitches we made previously. Then once you are done, just tie a little knot, as shown here. I like to tie a couple of knots just to make sure it's secure. Once you are done tying the knot, stick the needle through the body and pull the loop through. And then I like to cut off the excess yarn and throw it in the stuffing polyfill for later. And this is what it should look like when you are done with the body and the head. Next, we are going to work on his little collar. To make the collar, we are going to be using blue yarn and then make a slip knot so we can start making foundation single crochets. So to make a foundation single crochet, start off with chain 2. Then place your hook into the second chain from the hook. So the first chain you created. Pull a loop through, then pull a loop through that first one, and then pull the last loop through the second 2. You are going to repeat this, but this time, put the hook through both of the loops, pull one up, pull one through, and then pull the last loop through both. If you would like for me to do a slower foundation single crochet tutorial, please let me know in the comments. You will be making 5 foundation single crochets. If you find that foundation single crochets are too hard to do, you can just chain 6 and then single crochet 5. And that will be pretty much the same thing. Once you are done with the 5 foundation single crochet, that is the end of row 1. And for rows 2 through 35, you will be turning your project around and then placing 5 single crochet like normal. After you turn your work, a lot of people will chain 1, but I think that's a little unnecessary because you were just doing single crochets. But if you feel the need to chain 1, that's perfectly okay. It'll come out looking pretty much the same. And here's me finishing row 2. Once again, you will be repeating row 2 until you have completed row 35. So you will be doing 33 more rows of 5 single crochet. I have just finished row 35, and this is what it should look like. Just a long ribbon of 5 single crochet. Once you are done, cut off a long tail of yarn so we can sew it onto the body. Pull the loop through all the way. Then you will need to grab your white yarn when you are done. So get a long tail of white yarn, cut it off, and that is what we will be using to make the white stripe on the collar. So stick one side of the tail of yarn through the eye of the needle. Then you'll just be pretty much sewing a low line through the collar. I will have this part sped up, but you will still be able to see it. Once I'm done with the first initial line, I like to go back and sew another little line over the parts that are blue in the line. Once again, I'll have this part sped up, but also visible for you to see. And here I am, finishing with the white stripe in the collar. I will tie a little knot just to keep it extra secure. Then I will just cut off the long parts of the tail so they don't get in the way later. Now we are ready to sew the collar onto the body. I'll wrap the collar around the little guy's neck. And then I like to sew on the two ends together, just so that they don't come apart while I'm sewing. Then once I am done with that, I will just sew the top part of the collar around the neck. It's not a perfect fit, but you just have to kind of fold the little collar bits around so they do fit.
If you manage to find a better way to make his little collar, please tag me so I can see it. I'm really curious on how other people like to crochet.
Once you are done sewing on the collar, tie a couple knots and then pull the loop through, and then just cut off the excess yarn. And now you are done with the little collar of your Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Now we get to work on his arms and legs, all four having the same pattern. So start off with your white yarn and make a magic ring, and then put 8 single crochet inside of the magic ring. Once you are done with your 8 single crochet, pull the tail of the magic ring closed, and then you are ready to work on row 2, which is just 8 increases. So just place 2 single crochet inside of each stitch. Here, I will show you. 1 single crochet inside of this stitch, and then 1 more inside of it. You will do this increase pattern until you have 16 stitches in the round. This is what it should look like when you are done with row 2. For rows 3 through 5, so for the next 3 rounds, you are just going to be placing 1 single crochet inside of each stitch, which is 16 stitches. So you'll have 3 rounds of 16 stitches. I'm just going to show you row 3, and then I will come back after I'm done with row 5. Keep in mind that this is the pattern for both of his arms and both of his legs, so you will need to make 4 in total. This is what row 3 should look like, and for row 4 and 5, just do 16 single crochet again. This is what it should look like when you are done with row 5. Cut off a long tail so you can sew onto the body later. Here I am, having finished all 4 of the arms and legs. So grab your long tail that you have created, stick it through the eye of the needle, and then stuff your arm and or leg just a little bit. I did such a great job keeping this in frame, I know. And here I am just showing you. With the arms, I like to lift up the collar just a little bit so they are not too far down on the body, but you do not have to do this. You can sew on the arms and legs wherever you may feel like. This arm was a little bit underfilled for my liking, so here I am just adding a little bit more stuffing. Once you are done sewing on the arm, just tie a couple knots so it's extra secure. Once you are done sewing on the arms, stick the needle through the body, pull it through, and then if there is any excess yarn, cut it off, but like here, there wasn't because the tail was that short at the end. And this is what it should look like when you are done with the arm. Now you just need to sew on the other arm and both of the legs. And this is what your plushie should look like once you have both the arms and both of the legs sewn on. Now it is time to work on the last part, which is his hat. So grab your white yarn, make a magic ring, and then you will be placing 8 single crochet inside the magic ring. Once you are done with the 8 single crochet, pull the magic ring tail close, and then that is the end of row 1. For row 2, we are going to be making 8 increases. So place 2 single crochet inside of each of the 8 stitches, leaving you with 16 stitches when you are done. This is what you should have when you are done with row 2. I'm going to grab my stitch marker so I don't lose my place in the future. So for row 3, start off with an increase, 2 single crochet inside the same stitch, and then place 1 single crochet inside the next stitch. You will repeat this increase and single crochet pattern in the entire round until you have 24 stitches in the round. This is what it should look like when you're done with row 3. For row 4, we are going to once again start off with an increase. So place 2 single crochet inside the same stitch. Then after that, you'll be placing 1 single crochet inside the next 2 stitches. You will repeat this increase and 2 single crochet pattern until you have 32 stitches in the round. This is what you should have when you are done with row 4. For row 5, we are going to place 1 single crochet inside of each of the 32 stitches. And this is what it should look like when you're done with row 5. For row 6, we are going to start off with a decrease. So pick up the first 2 front loops of the next 2 stitches, pull a loop through them, and pull 1 more to make a single crochet. Then after, you'll just be placing 1 single crochet inside the next 2 loops. Then you'll do another decrease and 2 single crochet. You will be doing this decrease and 2 single crochet pattern in the entire round until you have 24 stitches in the round. And this is what it should look like when you are done with row 6. For row 7, we are once again going to start off with the decrease. So pick up the first 2 front loops, pull a loop through them, and then pull 1 more loop through. Then you'll just be placing 1 single crochet inside the next 1 stitch. You'll repeat this decrease and 1 single crochet pattern in the entire round until you have 16 stitches in the round. And this is what it should look like when you are done with row 7. For row 8, we are just going to be placing 1 single crochet inside of each of the 16 stitches, leaving us with 16 stitches at the end of row 8. This is what it should look like when you are done with row 8, which is the final row of the hat. So cut off a long tail so we can sew it onto the head. But before we sew it onto the head, we need to make his little dangly red thing. I don't know what it's called. Just flatten out the hat, and then we'll make his little red thing. So grab your red yarn and make a slip knot. Pull your hook through it, and then grab a loop and pull it through, which is just a chain. You'll be making 17 chains. You can make it longer or shorter, but this is just how I like it. Once you are done with all your chains, cut off a long tail so we can sew it onto the hat. So grab your yarn needle, and then put the tail that you just cut off through the eye of the needle. Then grab your hat, and you see that little middle part where the magic ring was? Put the needle through it, and then pull it through. And then the little tail of the magic ring, that is what I will be using to tie the 2 pieces together, so the little red part doesn't come flying off. I like to tie a couple of knots, just so it's extra secure. And when you are done, you can either cut off the 2 ends or stuff them inside of the hat like I do. And then that tail of the slip knot on the red part, I like to just thread the end of it through inside of it. And once you are done with that, it is time to sew the hat onto the head. So in the movie, the hat is a little bit on the side of the head, so that's where I will be sewing it. Once you are done sewing the hat onto the head, tie a couple of knots, just so it's extra secure and it doesn't fall off the head anytime soon. Then once you're done tying the knots, stick the needle through the head, and then pull it all the way through, and then cut off the excess bit of yarn if there is any. And this is what your plushie should look like once the hat is sewn on. We just have one more part, which is the blue part around his hat. Grab your blue yarn, and then we'll be making 15 foundation single crochets. So get a slip knot, chain 2, in the second chain from the hook, pull a loop through, pull 1 loop through, and then pull 1 more through. You will be repeating this 14 more times for a total of 15 foundation single crochets. Or if you cannot do foundation single crochets, chain 16 and then make 15 single crochets. That'll pretty much be the same thing. And this is what it should look like when you are done. Cut off a long tail so we can sew it around the hat. Then pull it through, Now we are ready to sew it. So grab your needle, pull the tail through the eye of the needle. So then grab your plushie and wrap the little blue bit around the hat. Then I like to sew the two ends together just so that they don't come apart when I'm sewing it onto the hat. And once you are done sewing on the blue part, I like to tie the two ends together a couple times just so that it doesn't come apart. Then grab your needle, and then stick the two ends into the eye of the needle, and then pull it through, and then cut off any excess yarn that you may or may not have. Once you are done with that, fix up the hat just a little bit so it looks pretty. And then you are done with your Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. I hope this tutorial was helpful. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments.